Grade 9, Lesson 9E. The theme is outlaws. Are you ready for the lesson? Okay, if you are ready, let's start our lesson. Today we are going to talk about outlaws. Objectives of our lesson: read and answer the questions and identify new words. Listen to opinions on stealing and answer true or false questions. Discuss the question whether it's good stealing. What do you see? Do you recognize any of these actors? Yes, of course you know. What do these three people have in common? Maybe some students watch films. They have in common the thing they have in common. These actors played Robin Hood. What is outlaws? How do you understand the word outlaw? A person who included from the benefit or protection of the law. A lawless person or a fugitive. A person under ban or restriction. An animal, such as a horse, that is wild and manageable. What do you know about Robin Hood? Have you seen any films about him? I guess you saw the films about Robin Hood, and maybe you also have seen the cartoons about Robin Hood. Okay, anyway, let's move on. Exercise 2. Read the text quickly, ignoring the gaps, and find 1. The century in which Robin Hood probably lived. 2. The name of the king at that time. 3. The name of the forest where Robin Hood lived. The legend of Robin Hood. Robin Hood is one of the most popular and interesting figures in English folklore, and his story is quite well known across the world. There have been several films made about him, including 3 in Hollywood. But who was he? And did he actually exist? In the 13th century, the story goes, there was a brave young man in Nottingham who fought against injustice with his band of laws. Please pay attention to highlighted text, guys. At that time, King Richard and his army were fighting in foreign lands. John was a mean and cruel ruler, and so was his friend, the terrible Sheriff of Nottingham. The sheriff demanded money from all the people who lived in the area of Nottingham. The poor had to pay large amounts and struggled to survive and feed their families. In the legend, Robin Hood was angry at injustice and decided to fight against it. He and his band of outlaws lived in the Sherwood Forest, an enormous wood near Nottingham that belonged to the king. They hunted the king's deer for food. The forest was considered a dangerous place, but to Robin and his band, it was a place of safety, away from the sheriff's men. There is some evidence that a man called Robin Hood actually lived during the 13th century. But it is unlikely that he was quite such a good man. Today, Sherwood Forest is a tourist attraction. Nearly 1 million people every year go to the visitor center there to learn about Britain's most famous outlaw. And even if he wasn't quite such a great man, it's a great story. Okay. Now on your books, highlight, answer the questions in exercise 2. Exercise 3. Read the text again and match sentence A through E with gaps 1 through 4. There is one sentence that you do not need. One sentence you do not need. And let's move on. Exercise 4. This is vocabulary. Match the highlighted words in the text with the definitions below. Look at the text again. Do you see highlighted words in the text? What color? Yes, you're right. The color is yellow. How many highlighted words can you see here? Let's count. Injustice, outlaws, army, ruler, struggle, evidence. There are 6 new words for you. You should match these new words to the definitions in exercise 4. Remember, you do not need one definition. Now let's repeat after me. Injustice, injustice. Outlaws, outlaws. Army, army. Ruler, ruler. Struggle, struggle. Evidence, evidence. I hope you will find their definitions correctly, and let's move on. Let's do exercise 5. Let's read the task for exercise 5. Read the exam strategy. Listen to 3 people talking about whether it is ever okay to steal. Are the sentences true or false? Before, let's read the exam strategy. When completing a true-false listening task, Before listening to the text, read the questions to find out what information you need. Listen to the text very carefully. Sometimes one word or expression can be the answer. Okay, what are we going to do? Yes, of course we are going to do exercise 5. It is listening task. And before listening, you should first read the statements. And then you will listen. Are you ready for the listening? Okay, I guess you are ready. And let's listen.
Lesson 9C. Exercise 5. It's obviously wrong, morally wrong, to steal. If I own something, I obviously don't want someone to steal it from me. Having said that, imagine somebody who is homeless, hasn't got any money, and has children to feed. What are they going to do? I think it's okay in those circumstances to steal food from a shop. And shoplifting isn't as bad as becoming a drug dealer or a burglar, which is what some desperate people do to get money. But I think that if people have to steal, they should only steal what they need and no more. And they should steal from big organisations, big shops, not from, small shops and... Jill.
A friend of mine ordered a couple of DVDs on the internet a while back, and the company sent her 2 of each by mistake. I said, "What are you going to do?" And she was like, "I'm going to keep them, of course." And I was quite surprised, because she's a nice person in other ways. She thinks it's wrong to steal, but she doesn't see that as stealing. She didn't actually take the DVDs, but I don't think it's any different from going to a shop and walking out with them without paying. Stealing is stealing. If it doesn't belong to you, don't take it. And if somebody gives you something by mistake, you should give it back.
Andy.
We all know the difference between right and wrong, but is stealing always wrong? I suppose it depends on what you mean by stealing. If a shopper says, "Is that stealing?" Maybe it depends on how much money is involved. That reminds me, I was in a restaurant with some friends and the waiter forgot to add drinks onto the bill. We'd ordered them and drunk them. So he undercharged us by £5. But it was quite an expensive restaurant, and the food service weren't really very good, so we didn't say anything. But I don't feel bad about that. Perhaps I should though, because technically it's stealing. It's a difficult one.
Okay. If it's not enough for you, you can listen and do the task. Question 1. One is, Kevin thinks it's okay to steal in some circumstances. Kevin thinks it's better to steal from a shop than a big organization. Jill's friend thinks it's okay to steal. Jill thinks it's never okay to steal. A shop assistant once gave Andy the wrong change. Andy feels bad about underpaying in the restaurant. Okay. Let's share with class or with me. Have you ever had such kind of situations like candies, jellies, and this situation? If you have such kind of situations, you can share with us, class, with me, and send voice message. And the last task is exercise 6. It is speaking task. Because we are studying from distance, you won't work in pairs, of course. You will just send your voice message to me. Do you think it's ever okay to steal? Give reasons and examples. And if you think it's bad to steal, you can also should give reasons and examples. Our lesson is over. Now it's time to give you home task. Your task is to complete exercises 1 through 3 on your workbook. Learn by heart new words. Find and write a short story in 80-90 words about a person who do things outlaws, but in a good way. If you know a person who do things outlaws, share in written form for us. I hope the lesson was interesting for you and clear for you, of course. I hope you will do all the tasks correctly and learn by heart the new words, of course. Our lesson is over. See you next time. Goodbye.